Have you ever faced a moment where giving up felt like the only option? Maybe it was a failed dream, a broken relationship, or a sudden tragedy that left you questioning, why me? I've been there, and let me tell you this, that moment of despair isn't the end, it's an opportunity. Today we're going to talk about how you can transform the hardest times in your life into your greatest victories. By the end of this speech, you'll walk away with tools to turn pain into power and redefine what strength truly means. Life is full of ups and downs, and no one is immune to hardship. But what if I told you that the key to overcoming those hardships lies not in changing your circumstances, but in changing how you view them? Perspective is the lens through which we experience life, and it's often the difference between feeling defeated and finding strength. Imagine this: two people face the same challenge, a sudden loss, a financial setback, or a failed dream. One person sees it as the end of the road, consumed by frustration and hopelessness. The other views it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to find a way forward. What separates these two people? It's not their intelligence, resources, or luck, it's their perspective. When life feels hard, it's natural to focus on the negative. The pain is real, the struggle is undeniable, and the uncertainty can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth: while you may not have control over what happens to you, you always have control over how you respond. This is where the power of perspective comes in. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it's about asking yourself, what can this teach me? How can I use this to become stronger? Some of the greatest stories of human resilience come from people who faced unimaginable adversity yet chose to see their struggles as stepping stones, not roadblocks. They didn't necessarily have fewer problems than others. They simply chose to see the possibility within the problem. What if you adopted the same mindset? Perspective also influences how we see ourselves. Too often we let our failures define us. We think, I'm not good enough, or I'll never get past this. But what if instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your worth, you saw it as a chance to refine your approach? What if you stopped focusing on what's missing in your life and started appreciating what's still there? Gratitude is a powerful shift in perspective. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, your mindset transforms. I won't tell you that perspective is easy to change. It's not. It takes effort, intentionality, and practice. But every time you choose to look for the lesson instead of the loss, you're building resilience. You're training your mind to see challenges not as insurmountable walls, but as doors waiting to be opened. Life is like climbing a mountain. From the base, the peak may seem impossibly far. But as you take one step at a time and shift your focus to the journey rather than the destination, you begin to see the beauty in the climb, the strength in every step, the lessons in every stumble, and the courage in continuing despite the difficulty. So the next time life feels hard, take a moment to pause and reframe your perspective. Ask yourself not, why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? When you shift your perspective, you shift your reality. And in that shift lies the strength to keep going. Resilience is not something you're born with, it's a choice you make every day. When life feels like it's weighing you down, resilience is what keeps you moving forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. It's not about never falling, it's about deciding to get back up every single time you do. Life doesn't come with a guarantee of fairness. Challenges arise when we least expect them. They come in many forms: failures that leave us doubting ourselves, losses that leave us grieving, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. In those moments, it's tempting to give in to despair. It's easy to say, this is too much, I can't handle this. But here's the secret: resilience begins the moment you choose not to quit. Making that choice is not always straightforward. Sometimes it feels impossible. The weight of the situation can make it seem like giving up is the only option. But resilience isn't about ignoring your pain or pretending you're unaffected. It's about acknowledging the difficulty and still choosing to fight through it. Every act of resilience, no matter how small, builds strength. Each time you take a step forward, even when it's hard, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of enduring and overcoming. Resilience is also deeply personal. What looks like strength for one person might look entirely different for another. For some, resilience is facing the day after a loss. For others, it's rebuilding their lives after a major setback. It's not about comparing your struggles or triumphs to anyone else's. Your journey is your own, and your resilience is defined by the challenges you face and the choices you make to confront them. There's power in knowing that resilience is a decision you can make. It's about taking control of what you can, even when much of life feels out of your hands. You can't always control the events that happen to you, but you can control how you respond to them. That choice, that refusal to give up, is the foundation of resilience. And while resilience is an individual decision, it doesn't mean you have to go it alone. Seeking support from loved ones, mentors, or even strangers can strengthen your resolve. Sharing your struggles and allowing others to help doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Often resilience is built in connection with others who remind us that we're not alone in our battles. Remember, resilience doesn't mean you won't feel pain, fear, or doubt. It doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It simply means you won't let those emotions define you or hold you back. Resilience is the quiet, steady voice inside that says, I will try again tomorrow. It's the courage to show up for yourself in your life, even when the odds feel stacked against you. The choice to stay resilient is always yours. It may not be easy, but it is possible. Each time you choose to rise after a fall, you're building a foundation of strength that will carry you through even the hardest times. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, it's the ability to keep going despite it. And that choice is always within your power. In the midst of life's challenges, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. When you're faced with hardship, the immediate struggle can consume your thoughts and energy, leaving you feeling stuck. But in those moments, having a clear sense of purpose or reason to keep going can be the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Your why is the driving force that fuels resilience, helps you navigate adversity, and keeps you moving toward your goals. Purpose isn't just some lofty, abstract idea. It's the core of your motivation, the reason you wake up every morning, even when the road ahead feels overwhelming. Without a clear why, the daily challenges of life can feel pointless. The obstacles you face may seem too heavy to bear, and it's easy to be overwhelmed by the weight of uncertainty. But when you know why you're doing something, when you understand the deeper meaning behind your efforts, it makes every step forward, no matter how small, feel worthwhile. Finding your why can take time. Sometimes it's not immediately clear what your purpose is. You may go through phases of self-doubt, questioning what you're meant to do or if your life truly has meaning. But the process of discovering your why is one of the most powerful journeys you can take. It requires reflection, honesty with yourself, and the courage to explore what truly matters to you. Think about what excites you, what makes you feel alive. Is it helping others? Is it achieving personal goals, whether big or small? Is it being the kind of person who faces challenges head on, regardless of the odds? Your why doesn't need to be grand or world-changing to be powerful. It could be as simple as being a good parent, improving your health, or finding peace of mind in a chaotic world. The beauty of your why is that it's uniquely yours, and it's the compass that guides you through the stormy seas of life. When you have a strong sense of purpose, challenges no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they become opportunities to grow and prove to yourself just how much you're capable of. With a why as your anchor, you're more likely to keep moving forward when things get tough because you know that the struggle is part of the process, not the end of it. You understand that what you're working toward is worth the fight. Your why is also what makes the journey meaningful. It transforms the grind into something more than just going through the motions. The challenges along the way become stepping stones, each one bringing you closer to fulfilling your purpose. And when you finally reach your goal, the satisfaction isn't just in the achievement itself, but in the fact that you remain true to your why all along. In the hardest moments, when everything feels like it's falling apart, your why will keep you grounded. It'll remind you of the bigger picture, of the things you care about most, and of the strength within you that you might not even realize exists. So take the time to discover your why and let it be the fuel that drives you through the tough times. When you know why you're fighting, nothing can stop you from moving forward. We all have weaknesses. They are a natural part of being human, traits or circumstances that hold us back, areas where we feel we fall short. It's easy to focus on these weaknesses, allowing them to define us or to become barriers we believe we can never overcome. But what if I told you that these weaknesses aren't just obstacles, they could become your greatest strengths? The key lies in how you choose to view them and how you approach turning them around. At first, it may seem impossible to imagine that your flaws or limitations could ever transform into something positive. After all, if you struggle with something, it's hard to see how it can be an advantage. But the truth is, what you perceive as your weakness can often be the very thing that shapes your strength. The vulnerability you experience in one area can lead to growth, resilience, and an expanded capacity for empathy and an understanding. Take a moment to think about your biggest challenges, those things that hold you back, the areas where you feel insecure or inadequate. Perhaps it's a lack of confidence, a fear of failure, or an ongoing struggle with a personal situation. It's easy to look at these things as limitations, but they also offer valuable lessons. When you embrace your weaknesses, instead of running from them, you gain the power to transform them. For example, if you've ever faced a failure, you've likely experienced the sting of disappointment. However, failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. When you learn from failure, it builds resilience. You discover that you're capable of more than you thought. You begin to understand that mistakes are not final, they're simply opportunities to improve. Every failure is a stepping stone toward greater success because it teaches you the lessons you need to move forward. What was once seen as a weakness becomes a foundation for strength. Similarly, if you struggle with self-doubt or fear, these emotions can actually fuel your growth if you allow them to. Instead of avoiding the discomfort, you can use it as a prompt for personal development. Fear is often a sign that we're stepping out of our comfort zones, and growth happens when we push beyond those boundaries. The more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Over time, what once felt like a weakness can transform into courage, self-assurance, and the strength to take on bigger challenges. Another powerful example of turning weaknesses into strengths lies in how we relate to others. Those who have faced hardship often develop a deep sense of empathy. Because they've been through difficult times themselves, they are better able to understand and support others who are struggling. What seemed like a burden can become a gift as it allows you to connect with and uplift those around you. Finally, weakness can be a catalyst for creativity and innovation. When we are forced to confront limitations, we often think outside the box. A challenge pushes us to find new solutions, adapt, and become resourceful. When you embrace your limitations and use them as a challenge to overcome, you develop skills that may never have been necessary otherwise. The key to turning weaknesses into strengths lies in mindset. It's about reframing how you look at challenges. Instead of asking, why me? Or feeling defeated, ask, what can I learn from this? And how can I grow? When you shift your perspective, you open the door to transformation. Your weaknesses are not there to define you, they're there to shape you into a stronger, more resilient person. By embracing them, you turn them into the very thing that propels you forward. When life gets tough, one of the most powerful sources of strength you can tap into is the support of others. It's easy to think that resilience comes from within, and while personal strength is essential, it's equally important to recognize that we're not meant to face life's challenges alone. Whether through faith, family, friends, or even communities of shared experience, having a network of support can make all the difference in how you navigate adversity. At the core of faith and community support is the understanding that we are all connected. When you're struggling, reaching out to others doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It's in these moments of vulnerability, when you feel like you can't go on, that others can lift you up. But for that to happen, you need to be willing to lean on them to share your burdens and allow them to help you carry the load. Faith, whether in a higher power, the universe, or a deeper sense of purpose, can also be a guiding light in difficult times. When you face hardship, faith offers a sense of hope that transcends immediate circumstances. It reminds you that there is something greater at work, that the challenges you face are not the end of your story. Faith helps you hold on to the belief that things can and will get better, even when you can't yet see the way forward. It's a trust in the process, a quiet assurance that no matter how hard life gets, there is a greater purpose unfolding. Alongside faith, community support is invaluable. It's easy to isolate yourself when you're struggling, to think that no one could possibly understand your pain or your situation. But often there are people around you who have gone through similar experiences and can offer both practical and emotional support. Communities, whether formed through shared interests, faith groups, or common challenges, provide a space where people can share their struggles, their strength, and their hope. Being part of a community reminds you that you are not alone, that there are others who care and who are there for you. One of the greatest benefits of community support is the feeling of belonging it provides. When you feel like you belong, like you are part of something larger than yourself, it creates a sense of safety and strength. It reduces the feeling of isolation and helps you see that your challenges are not unique to you. Someone else has been where you are and they survived, which means you can too. Faith and community support also serve as reminders that we don't have to have all the answers or handle everything ourselves. It's okay to ask for help, to allow others to carry you when you're too tired to keep going. In fact, doing so allows others to step into their own strength as they support you, creating a cycle of mutual growth. When you allow faith and community to be a part of your journey, you open yourself up to a whole new level of strength and resilience. The love, understanding, and encouragement you receive help you build the courage to keep going even when it seems impossible. You don't have to carry everything alone. Sometimes it's through the faith of others and the embrace of your community that you find the strength to keep fighting. In the toughest of times, never forget that faith and community support are not just crutches, they are sources of true strength that empower you to keep going, heal, and ultimately thrive. Embrace them, and you'll find that you are stronger than you ever imagined. In a world that often values big accomplishments and grand successes, it's easy to overlook the small victories along the way. Yet, it's these seemingly minor wins that can have the most significant impact on our lives, especially when we're facing difficult times. When life feels overwhelming and the journey ahead seems long, celebrating the small wins can provide the motivation and perspective needed to keep going. Small wins might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they serve as powerful reminders that progress is happening, even if it's not immediately visible. When you're focused on a massive goal, whether it's overcoming a personal challenge, achieving success in your career, or improving your health, it can be easy to get discouraged by the slow pace or lack of immediate results. But each small step forward, no matter how minor it seems, is part of the larger process of growth. By celebrating these small wins, you build momentum that carries you through the more difficult moments. These small victories also help to shift your focus from what you haven't accomplished to what you have. It's easy to be critical of yourself, to focus on the things you haven't done or the obstacles that still lie ahead. But when you acknowledge and celebrate the progress you've made, it fosters a sense of accomplishment. Recognizing the small wins, whether it's making it through a tough day, sticking to your commitments, or learning something new, reminds you that every step forward is meaningful. This shift in mindset can have a profound effect on your emotional well-being and outlook on life. Celebrating small wins also keeps you connected to your why. When you're focused on achieving big goals, it's easy to get lost in the end result and forget why you started the journey in the first place. However, by acknowledging your small victories, you remind yourself of the purpose and meaning behind your efforts. Each win, no matter how small, brings you one step closer to fulfilling your larger purpose. And that connection to your why is what fuels you through the tough times. Another benefit of celebrating small wins is that it helps build confidence. Every time you achieve something, no matter how minor, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can keep moving forward. These moments of achievement, however small, serve as proof that you have the strength and determination to overcome challenges. Over time, these small wins accumulate and they form the foundation for larger successes. In a world that often rewards the big, flashy accomplishments, taking the time to celebrate the small wins is an act of self-compassion. It's a reminder that success is not always about the end goal, but about the process, the growth, and the resilience you show along the way. Each small victory is a testament to your perseverance, and by acknowledging them, you give yourself permission to enjoy the journey. So when life feels hard and the road ahead feels daunting, don't forget to celebrate the small wins. They may not seem like much in the moment, but they are the building blocks of success. Each small victory is a step forward, a reason to keep going, and a reminder that progress is happening. By focusing on these wins, you create a positive feedback loop that fuels your resilience, boosts your confidence, and ultimately propels you toward your larger goals.